Lauren Bianchi-Clement. I'm the Education Committee Chair here for Ventura County Women's Political Council. We were established to support the mission of VCWPC, and we are charged with helping do candidate training and education events like this. And we're really excited to have some powerhouse speakers come join us today. We've invited Steve Wilmont, Vice President with Nitzel Grisby and Associates, as well as Cheryl Heitman, right there in the background, City Council member for Ventura. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me to be here today. I have already felt very welcomed, and how that has come about. I mean, I've known Lauren since she was really young, and I've known Leah for a number of years through Hank and the Optimist Club in the Conejo Valley. So, but outside of that, this is a whole new room for me. And so I had a chance a week or so ago to meet with several of your leaders, the council leaders. And we're having a great conversation. We're talking about what we're going to do today. But it turned out we were meeting on National Donut Day, all right? And through the course of our conversation, it turned out that I got to spill my guts about what a huge fan of donuts I was. So I'm welcomed this morning by Sharon with a donut. She brought in this morning just for me after that conversation. And there's two pieces of that story that are very valuable. Number one, I got a donut. But number two, remembering little things like that from a conversation you have with someone is really good politics. All right. My task this morning is to share with you a little bit about the best practices of fundraising as a whole. It's important to remember that my world is not political fundraising. My world is nonprofit community service fundraising. But those concepts about fundraising that we teach and train and motivate them to do are going to be very translatable for this world of political fundraising. Okay, so you want to run for office. What's the next thing that you got to think about? Well, here it comes. Show me the money. You all saw that movie, right? Yeah. But the best practices of fundraising are going to translate. They're going to translate from what we do in the nonprofit community serving world and what needs to get done when you are a candidate for office. Here's a disturbing trend from my perspective when it comes to politics. And Lauren mentioned that for the last 5 years of my YMCA career, before I got into this consulting role, I was the statewide director for this YMCA entity called Youth in Government. Basically, it's 3,000 high school kids that want to figure out how to get involved in the political world, and they become the state government for 5 days every year in February. We take over the city of Sacramento. And every YMCA, there are 80, 90 YMCAs throughout the state that have to write a bill that they bring with them. Their kids try to get that bill passed into law while they're there for 5 days. It's a fantastic experience. But here's the disturbing trend. What we're seeing in the newspaper is not so-and-so is a great candidate because they stand for this, and so-and-so is a great candidate because they stand for that. What the media is telling us is, I'm the best candidate because I raise the most money. So we're going to talk a little bit today about how you can be fundamentally stronger at that, but please don't make this the reason you run for office. Let's look at the ways that we can do this part and still be issue-based, and still pay attention to things that need to get done. So all of that kind of stuff leads to a very important question. And that question is, what's the most important skill in politics? I want to tell you a story about this question. So these 3,000 kids that are going to go to Sacramento for 5 days and become the state government spend 5 months before that conference doing elections and whatever. And when it's all said and done, there are 45 or so of them who are now state officers. What that meant was those 45 kids got to go over to the state capitol building and go into the Ken Matty Lounge that nobody gets to go into in the Senate chambers and have breakfast with 8 to 10 elected officials. This question comes up on one of these breakfasts. And I'm telling you, it stumped them all. They're sitting around the table looking at each other, these 7 or 8 elected officials, trying to figure out how they're going to answer this to these 45-year high school faces, right? And one of them finally takes a big sigh and says, it's fundraising. And I gotta tell you, these kids, their heads dropped. They were so disappointed. They're waiting to hear it's public speaking and it's debate, and if I go to university and study this, I'm gonna be a great politician. So this what is the most important skill in politics? It's disappointing that we would think that fundraising is at or near the top of that list, but it's reality. You know, think about those newspaper clippings that I showed you just a minute ago. So this is an important skill to invest some time in. And it's something that I hope, going through some of these basic principles this morning, it will help you find a way you can do this and not feel like it's this whole ugly world that I really never intended to get involved in, because it doesn't have to be. Politics is developing relationships. And we don't tend to think of it that way right at the very beginning. But politics is remembering to bring the guy a donut this morning. It's developing relationships. And this was never more clear to me than when I first started to be a voter. Because when I go into the ballot box, and we all do this. We don't think we do, but we all do this. You go into the ballot box and you look at the names that are running for whatever office they're running for, whatever one feels the most familiar, whatever one you think you actually know, whatever. When I know you, when I feel like you are my friend, when I like you, when I think I like you, that's when I vote for you. It's not because I can recite your platform. So politics is about developing relationships. But here's the really, really good news. So is fundraising. So I want you all to throw away that negative connotation that comes with fundraising and realize that all of you can be really good fundraisers. People give to people. They don't give to causes. So oftentimes you will think to yourself, well, you know, I don't measure up to Hurricane Katrina, so nobody's going to ever donate to me. They're going to donate to Hurricane Katrina. That is a very, very, very rare exception to the rule. Because in general, I don't give to the Red Cross. I gave to a Red Cross volunteer who asked me to give. Money follows engagement. I give to something that I'm engaged with. I give to something that I volunteer for. I give to something where I feel like I'm a team member or a co-owner of it. That's where people give. And that is true whether it's my church, whether it's my university, whether it's my hospital, or whether it's my political campaign. That one is the single biggest growing trend in the world of fundraising. I give where I volunteer. And that's true whether you are a multimillionaire or whether you are the Girl Scout cookie seller. But money follows engagement is the biggest growing trend in fundraising right now. So how does that translate to all of us? If I'm running for office, I don't run around with my hand out saying, please give. I run around asking, will you volunteer with me? Will you help me? Will you come be a part of me? And then the donations follow.